Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I am Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. BJP Parliamentary Party felicitates Prime Minister Narendra Modi for leading the party to victory in 3 state elections. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman says country saved 2 trillion rupees by direct benefits transfer. Digitalization ensures transparency and good governance. India observes Armed Forces Flag Day to honor the martyrs and the brave men in uniform who defend the country's borders. And India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, inaugurates Hindustan Aeronautics Limited's Avionics Expo 2023 in New Delhi. The members of Parliament of India's ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party or the BJP, gave a rousing welcome to Prime Minister Narendra Modi at a parliamentary party meeting in New Delhi. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi said Prime Minister Modi exuded confidence in the party after winning in 3 states and said that the party has increased its strength multiple times.
Our strength has improved, along with Chhattisgarh, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh, where we have won with a comfortable margin. But whereas at the same time, Bharatiya Janata Party has improved its strength in Mizoram and Telangana also in many folds.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the members of his party this morning during the BJP Parliamentary Party meeting. Some key takeaways from his address include the following. Now, he says, and I am paraphrasing him here, Prime Minister Modi says, "This victory is not my victory alone, but that the credit for the victory goes to the entire party. This victory is the victory of the hard work of the party workers." He says, "Everyone worked together. One should not underestimate the people of the country." He says only 4 castes exist for him: the poor, women, youth and farmers, and that all must engage in the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. He says all members of parliament should participate in the Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra. The schemes, he says, have to be taken to the masses. All must inform the people about these schemes. He urges people to make India a developed country by the year 2047. He added that BJP's record of returning to power is 57%, but that the Congress's return record is only 18%. Now, it's day 4 of the winter session of India's Parliament. The lower house or the Lok Sabha is debating the Central Universities Amendment Bill. The House is also scheduled to take up the discussion and voting on the supplementary demands for grants first batch for the year 2023-24. In the upper house, a short duration discussion on the economic situation of the country is underway, while the J&K Reservation Amendment Bill 2023 and the J&K Reorganization Amendment Bill 2023 and the Repealing and Amending Bill 2023 are also listed to be taken up for consideration and India's Minister of External Affairs, Subramaniam Jayashankar, while responding to a question on official visits to Latin America, says that trade with Latin America is nearing $50 billion.
Today, our trade with Latin America is nearing $50 billion. We have a very significant flow of people there. There is a lot of services trade which is taking place in Latin America. We have also designated special conclaves for which Latin American delegations come here. So I would certainly be confident that we will see many more visits to Latin America, not just by me, but by my other ministerial colleagues as well.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also attended the proceedings in the Upper House today. Moving on, India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman addressed the Global Economic Policy Forum at New Delhi's Bharat Mandapam complex. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said the country saved 2 trillion rupees through direct benefit transfer and that digitalization ensures transparency and good governance.
After having brought the direct benefit transfer to the accounts of the poor, government's money going to the accounts of the poor directly, have saved more than 2 trillion Indian rupees. 2 lakh crores of Indian rupees has been saved because no more spurious recipient of these benefits. So that makes a difference to your governance itself, brings transparency to the system, and the ultimate beneficiary gets the total amount which is due to him and no pilferages happen.
Speaking on artificial intelligence, Minister Sitharaman says that the ministry will encourage Indian companies to use AI, Web 3.0 and Industry 4.0 to improve efficiency. She invited industry to work closely for the Center of Excellence and to use AI ethically.
I'll certainly encourage him to adapt to using AI. I'll certainly encourage them to take Industrial Revolution 4.0 seriously. I would want them to be sure that in their planning for short-term, medium-term and long-term, AI and Web3 are all taken in the right spirit to improve productivity, to improve efficiencies, and to make sure that you are able to take the monotony out of due diligence. You need to have due diligence, you need to have compliances, but maybe AI will help you to do it smartly.
Now, India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has been ranked 32nd on the Forbes' annual list of the world's 100 most powerful women. This list includes influential women from various sectors such as politics, business, media and entertainment. Minister Sitharaman's inclusion on the list highlights her significant contributions to Indian politics and policy and also reflects her influence on India's economic policies and GDP. To the Indian Parliament, where India's finance minister is replying during a short-duration discussion on economic situation in the country.
Contributing to the economy, the manufacturing sector has registered the highest growth of 13.9% in Q2 of this year. Now, if that is one other point that we would like to notice, there is this emphasis that I like to place on the Purchasing Managers Index. Manufacturing number itself is 13.9% growing, but the Purchasing Managers Index in November 23 was 56, which is in the expansionary territory. Now, PMI has been in the expansionary territory for more than 29 consecutive months. So the sustained growth of manufacturing is very indicated by that. Now again, a comparison for the manufacturing sector is comparatively, if you're looking at the major economies, including that of the United States of America, Australia, Eurozone, Brazil, China and South Korea, they have seen a contractionary manufacturing PMI. Let's not miss this point, because all developed countries are all showing in their PMI, the Purchasing Managers Index, a contractionary terrain number. So just to highlight what I'm trying to say is I've mentioned that 29 consecutive months we have seen the PMI in India in the expansionary territory, whereas in those countries, USA inclusive, they are in the contractionary trend. Now, I'll just read the October and November 23 numbers. For USA, it is just 50 in October, 49.4 in October, and 49.4 in November 2023. Similarly, for Canada, 48.6, 47.
All right, let's now take you live for a weekly briefing by the spokesperson of India's Ministry of External Affairs.
Okay. One by one, yeah.
Sir, I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. I have two related questions. What is the situation in Venezuela? They have just had a referendum and they have taken a piece of Guyana. What is India?
That's not my words, right?
No.
They've taken a piece of Guyana?
Yeah, I mean, it's the media reports.
Okay, thank you.
And he has already passed an order for that.
Okay, fair enough.
I just wanted to know India's position. Just wanted to check, has India started buying oil from Venezuela?
Well, sir, hand up before, since you were very keen.
Sir, I'm Sahil from ENI. It's regarding the Qatar appeal. Did Prime Minister Modi speak to Qatar Amir on the sidelines of COP28 summit regarding the appeal?
Okay. Yes, Samir. Sorry.
Samir Hussain from BBC News. Christopher Wray, the head of the FBI, is going to be visiting India next week. Want to know what will be discussed in that meeting, and will you bring up the case of the indicted?
Will we bring up?
Yes.
Okay.
Will that be discussed, rather? And then, is there any update on the investigation and the thing that was set up? I'm a loss for
Inquiry committee.
Thank you. Yes, the inquiry.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, behind you.
सर मैं नीरज दुबे प्रभा साक्षी से सर इजराइल हमास संघर्ष पर विपक्ष की एक बड़ी नेत्री ने कहा है कि भारत को सही का साथ देना चाहिए क्योंकि हमारा इतिहास ऐसा रहा है. क्या सरकार इस पे कुछ कमेंट करना चाहेगी? विदेश मंत्रालय
ये पार्लियामेंट में था
सर. पार्लियामेंट में नहीं, प्रियंका गांधी वाड्रा का उसमें एक ट्वीट है.
Okay, I'll take one more question next round, perhaps. Yes, there, Mr. Emerson.
Sir, I'm Keita Weki, Japanese news agency.
Sorry.
GG Press.
Oh, I didn't recognize you. Sorry. Yeah.
My question is regarding the Afghan embassy in New Delhi. My understanding is that the Afghan embassy in New Delhi has resumed operations. Do you believe that the embassy represents the Taliban government or the previous government?
Okay. I'll come back. I see many more hands. Let me come back to you. Okay. Let me start with the questions. I think they were on the Qatar issue. I think Meghna, you asked, as well as I think Sahil, you had asked on that. You would have seen Prime Minister met the Emir of Qatar in Dubai on the sidelines of COP28. I think he put out a tweet. My understanding is that they're good conversation on the overall bilateral relationship as well as in the well-being of the Indian community, as he said. Look, it's the Prime Minister's conversation with him. I have nothing further to add. We wanted an update on the case as such. There have been 2 hearings. As you know, we filed an appeal, as is from the families, and the detainees had filed an appeal. 2 hearings have since been held. One, I think, on the November 30th. The other was on November 23rd. I think the next hearing is coming up soon. We are closely following the matter and extending all legal and consular assistance. Meanwhile, our ambassador got consular access to meet all 8 of, in prison on 3rd of December. And as I said, this is a sensitive issue, but we will continue to follow, and whatever we can share, we will do so. Huma, on the issue of Venezuela and Guyana, the dispute, yes, of course, we have been monitoring developments on that. As you know, insofar as the dispute itself is concerned, we have always advocated resolution of disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. But for the moment, I would say we're just keeping a close eye on seeing what's happening. I don't have anything additional to share for the moment. Samira, your question regarding the Look, oil part, sorry, apologies. The oil part, I wouldn't be aware. I would have to refer you because a lot of them might be purchased by private entities. As regards whether we are doing through government, I would refer you to the Petroleum Ministry. I'm not aware of any update on this issue as yet, but if there is, we will certainly share with you. Samira, as regards the issue of the visit, which actually I think you should ask the US side because I think the US ambassador mentioned it. So, but let me just mention what I know about it and particularly give you a context. As you are aware, we have robust security, cyber security, counter-terrorism and counter-narcotics cooperation with the US agencies. We also engaged in capacity building programs. So as part of this ongoing bilateral cooperation, visit by the FBI director is in the works, is being held, but let them confirm the exact things. Details of this visit has been worked out with the US side over the course of the last few months. And as I said, I wouldn't like to confirm the specific timeline for that. That I would leave to the US. I would direct it to the US Embassy or the agencies for the specifics of this visit. But yes, there's something that is in the works. What will India be raising, or will this issue come up? Look, as I said, this is part of ongoing dialogue process. I don't have a crystal ball, so I'm not going to guess into what may or may not be discussed. Perhaps the concerned agencies or may wish to brief you after the event. At this moment, I have nothing further on that one. नीरज जी, आपका प्रश्न था सही आप मैं सही सुना है ना? हाँ, देखिए मैं ये बिल्कुल मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं हूँ कि हम जो कर रहे हैं वो गलत है. तो हमारी जो दृष्टिकोण है, हमने जिस तरह से इस मुद्दे पर नज़रिया रखा हुआ है, उसमें आप जानते ही हमारा ये पक्ष बहुत क्लियर है कि हमने कहा था कि उस तरह से टेररिज्म को किस तरह से हम अलग देखते हैं, किस तरह से वहाँ सिविलियन ह्यूमैनिटेरियन असिस्टेंस चाहिए होता है, किस तरह से हम लॉन्ग टर्म सोल्यूशन पैलेस्टाइन का आ सके. इस मुद्दे पे काफ़ी बार हमने अपना जो पोजीशन है उसको बताया है, क्लैरिफाई किया है, बहुत लेवल्स पे किया है. तो मैं और कुछ एडिशनल कहना नहीं चाहूँगा उस पर सिर्फ यही कि हमें लगता है यही ठीक पोजीशन है और टेररिज्म के मामले में पर्टिकुलरली हमारा काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग पोजीशन रहा है. ऑन द अफगान embassy issue, you used a particular word which I am not fully sure is appropriate about resumption or not. All I could say is, as per our understanding, the Afghan embassy in New Delhi and the consulates in Mumbai and Hyderabad are functioning. And you can see from the flag who they represent, and our position on recognition of entities has not changed. So I think that's what it is, and I guess the diplomats, Afghan diplomats who are here, are providing assistance or continue to provide services to the Afghan nationals here. Okay, I saw a few more rounds of hands, one by one. I saw your hand, Kadambini, please go ahead.
Kadambini Sharma from NDTV. This is about the visit of FBI director. So this is a regular visit, or is there any development in Panu case?
I don't know how to answer. Okay, I'll try. Yes, please.
Hi, this is Sanjay from ITV News. My question is pertaining to what Kadambini and Samira asked. Could you tell me what is the update on the inquiry which Indian government has set up in the wake of US allegations about Indian involvement? Okay. Secondly, there are some groups in UK has expressed their concern for safety and they have written to the Home Secretary.
Separate question, no? You're asking two questions.
Yes, two separate questions, sir. Yeah, sorry, it's related to it. Yeah. Okay. So could you, have you received any communication from the UK government in the similar nature about...
UK government?
Yeah, some groups in UK has expressed concern about their safety, in the wake of what has happened in Canada and US.
Oh.
So have you had any communication from UK about this?
We are obviously talking about different activities, but I'll try to answer your question. Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, Siddhant from WION. My question is on Panun. He has threatened the Indian Parliament. How much is this a concern for the Indian government, and is this a matter that we have raised or going to raise with the concerned authorities?
Okay.
Manohar Manoj from Economy India. It would be interesting to know by many Indians, that is, what is your official take on consistent killing of anti-India terrorists by their rival gang in Pakistan and some other country?
Official take, no? Not my personal. Okay, just checking. No, I saw a hand, yeah. I'll come to you. I'll try to as many.
So this is Abhishek Jha from CNN News 18. My question is regarding many terrorist organizations, especially Khalisani terrorist organization in Canada, asking people not to board Air India flights. They have been picketing at multiple airports. So this looks like a clear threat and intimidation to Indian communities. So have you raised this question?
This was on specific date, no? Wasn't it 19th of last month, November?
No. This again, like last week also they have done this picketing at the airport and discouraging people from boarding the flights.
Okay. More hands? I'll come back. I see another round. Okay. Kadambani, on your query on regarding FBI director, look, I just answered the context in which we look at the visit, and it's been, as I said, it's been in the works for some time, and this is part of an ongoing cooperation, security-related cooperation. I certainly don't know if there is any development on the aspect that you referred to. I'm not aware of it. And on the same note, I should have responded to Samir on that one, and I think you raised the issue on that high-level inquiry. No, I don't have any update on the response on that. If there is, we'll certainly share that with you. At this point, I don't have anything to share. On your query on the communication with the UK government, no, I'm not aware of any particular thing. I have seen some reports where say they feel threatened by groups when they are there. I don't think it's for the UK government to find any on the security elements or things like that. I don't know what you're insinuating. I'm not getting into that. Siddhant, as regards threats, and I think Abhishek, you had the similar sort of a query. Look, I'm not the right person to comment on security issues, but yes, we do take threats seriously, particularly if, depending on the context of that. In the specific case, yes, on the Parliament, we are caught in a bind here. I don't want to amplify or give too much of credence to such extremists who make threats and get a lot of coverage. But on the other hand, we take this seriously. In this particular case, I know that we have taken up this matter with the, I think, US and Canadian authorities about this threat. But as I said, I don't want, the extremists and terrorists have a tendency of wanting media coverage on an issue, and I wouldn't like to dignify them that way. Abhishek, I am not sure about the Air India one. A recent one, I know last month they had threatened on a particular date, and I think that issue was something on our radar. I'll have to check. But let me make a larger point, of course, that we would condemn any threat of this nature. We take this seriously, and our security agencies will take appropriate action. If there are people are being discouraged to use the word, I don't know what that means, were they threatened, were they not allowed, but we certainly would not be happy with that. And if there are incidents where there are criminal activities or we feel there is a threat, we will take appropriate action abroad. Manohar Ram, your question was regarding official position. Look, I don't know how to react. I don't have a comment on it, except for the larger issue is that those who are wanted in India to face justice for criminal and terrorist activities or extremists, we would like them to come to India and face our legal system. But I cannot comment on developments that have taken place in Pakistan. I don't have any additional info than what I see on media. So I will not be able to comment further on that. Okay, let me take a next round of questions. Yes,
So Sridhar from the Asian Age. I was just curious whether India has demanded that the US prosecute and arrest and prosecute Pannu, because this is a man who's belting out one terror threat after the other against Air India, against the Indian Parliament. But somehow we have conducting a probe into an alleged murder plot, but the US doesn't seem to be taking these threats very seriously. And has India pressed them that they should also conduct a probe into the activities of Pannu? Thank you.
Okay. Whose hand did I see? Yeah, Pia.
Hi, Pia with the print. Since 2018, Indian students dying abroad seems to be the highest in Canada as per data released by the MEA earlier today in Parliament.
Not released. It's a reply to a Parliament question.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Has the MEA communicated this to the Canadian side? Are there any steps being taken to protect our students there? Thanks.
Okay. Yeah. Reza? Oh, sorry, I missed you. I'll come back to you.
Reza from the Hindustan Times. The readout on the India-Myanmar consultations yesterday mentioned the situation on the border, and also, India supporting the efforts to return to federal democracy. I was just wondering, how does India see the situation on the border, given the fact that the resistance forces have scored a number of victories in the last few weeks and seem to have moved closer and closer to positions along the Indian border.
Sorry, could you clarify your question? How it sees the developments within Myanmar, or vis-a-vis?
Because the resistance forces do seem to have been scoring a lot of victories and against the military forces.
Fair enough. You asked already a question, so let me try some other people. Huh? Yeah, okay. If you have related questions, please.
So, times now. There are about 19,000 people from Myanmar in India. And in recent weeks, in 2 states alone, about 6,000 to 7,000 people have come. 1 or 2 of them are reasonably eminent people. Now, is this something that could be a problem? Or is this something
because of their eminence?
We are going to, 7,000 new people have suddenly come in 1 week. It's an issue.
Let's see if I have the numbers here. Okay. Yeah, please.
सर मधुरेंद्र मैं न्यूज़ नेशन से मेरा सवाल ब्रिक्स को लेकर है। ब्रिक्स में शामिल होने के लिए पाकिस्तान ने जिस तरह से बीट किया है और कई पाक के जो मित्र देश हैं उनका समर्थन भी उसे प्राप्त है, भारत इस डेवलपमेंट को कैसे देखता है?
Umashankar, please. Microphone.
उमाशंकर NDTV इंडिया से। कतर में ही मेरा सवाल है कि जो एक कानूनी प्रक्रिया चल रही है, हमने अपील किया हुआ, आपने बताया कि 2 सुनवाई हुई, अगली सुनवाई भी जल्द होनी है, तो क्या कानूनी प्रक्रिया पूरी होने के बाद पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप के साथ मामला उठाया जाएगा? इस बात का इंतजार किया जा रहा है या दोनों प्रक्रिया साथ साथ चल रही है?
Okay. Yeshi, last question.
Yeshi Seli from the New Indian Express. What's the update on the withdrawal of soldiers from Maldives? The new president had said that the Indian troops will have to go back, and so what's the update? And what are the exact numbers? There are, some figures are at 77, some say there are 89. What are the exact numbers?
Sridhar, to start with your query, I think, look, you asked a question that's also mired a little bit in the legal aspect, so I'll be a little careful what I say. Look, as you know, that in the individual you named is wanted by our agencies for violation of the law, and there is a process under which we seek assistance, we seek that they be prosecuted. It depends on whether the crime is committed. In our case, I think requests have gone through detailing the kind of crimes that he's responsible for in India, and hence what kind of assistance we would require from the foreign countries. But your question was more about the threats he's making there. Yes, we have of course flagged concerns to our partners about any threats made by extremists or terrorists against India, against Indian diplomats or our properties, etc. And we do take it up from time to time, and there is ongoing conversation, there is security cooperation. Some of it we've seen results, some of it we haven't, and this is an ongoing process. As regards the question on Pia, sorry, your question was, look, I would hesitate to put it from the perspective you have put it. Yes, I'm aware today in Parliament we answered a question on the deaths of Indian students. Canada does happen to numerically be the highest, but I would urge that they be looked at in relation to the total number of Indian students in that country. Plus, we would need to see whether these are caused by violence, either car accidents. We don't know. So I think I don't know if this is an issue that merits taking up with the government. If there are individual incidents where there has been foul play, etc., we certainly, our consulates do reach out, both the families, we also take it up with the local authorities, or what further prosecution or other investigation that they are pursuing. So I would like to make a generalized comment there. Reza, regarding your query on the Myanmar, look, let me take you back to, you mentioned, I think, there was a conversation, there was a Foreign Office consultations that took place, I think, yesterday. We have put out how we see the developments there. Yes, of course, as we have said earlier, developments in Myanmar of this kind are a matter of concern for us. Also linked to the query I got about how many, Shinjo was asking, number of people have come across. We've answered this, we've discussed this in the past. These are issues of concern. Yesterday, We have put out a press release. In addition, what I can tell you is that we discussed the full range of security concerns, particularly challenges faced on the border, including refugee flows. And on a larger perspective, we have always been encouraging that peace there or a resolution or a return to democracy is the way forward that we see. I wouldn't like to comment about whether resistance forces are making gains, or that's not the issue. We would like to see a peaceful periphery and the issues that we are facing on our border and the security implications of that. We've spoken at length about this in the past, of how drug trafficking or other forms of trafficking, other difficulties that are faced. There are, of course, refugee flow, and this is something that's being addressed. Of course, on the exact numbers and details, Srinjoy, I would refer you to the concerned ministries and agencies. But yes, this is an issue. This is an issue that came up in the conversation, as also other challenges in managing the border. मधुरेंद्र जी, आपका प्रश्न था ब्रिक्स के बारे में, और पाकिस्तान आपने कहा कि अप्लाई किया है उन्होंने। मधुरेंद्र जी कहाँ गए? हाँ, देखिए, कई देशों ने ब्रिक्स की सदस्यता की मांग की। विस्तार प्रक्रिया के लिए कोई वो गाइडिंग प्रिंसिपल, स्टैंडर्ड्स, क्राइटेरिया और प्रोसीजर्स अपनाए गए। हाल ही में इस साल जब साउथ अफ्रीका में ब्रिक्स की जो शिखर सम्मेलन रही, उसके पहले। अब इस पर्टिकुलर एप्लीकेशन के बारे में मेरा कोई कमेंट नहीं है, पर मैं सिर्फ ये कहना चाहता हूँ, आपने पर्टिकुलरली कहा कि कुछ मित्र देशों ने सपोर्ट किया है। मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ और हाईलाइट करना चाहता हूँ कि जो ब्रिक्स की डिसीजंस होती हैं, उसके जो निर्णय लिए जाते हैं, वो सारे कंसेंसस के बेसिस में होता है। मैं इतना ही कहना चाहता हूँ, आप इसका इशारा समझ ही सकते हैं अगर नहीं समझो। उमा शंकर जी, योर क्वेरी वाज ऑन कतर। Look, I wouldn't like to put it, sorry, where did Uma Shankar go? There you are, right here. Apologies, sometimes you don't see the first row. We clarified where we are, how we look at this problem. इसमें ऐसा नहीं है कि पहले ये होगा उसके बाद होगा। एक न्यायिक प्रक्रिया चल रही है जिसमें हमने एक अपील भी फाइल कर रखी है, और हमने पहले कहा था कि हम इस विषय को कतर के साथ भी हम रहेंगे, उनके कतरी अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ हम कांटेक्ट बनाए रखेंगे इस मामले में। इसके डिटेल मैं कुछ शेयर नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ क्योंकि ये संगीन मामला है और मैं इसको ज़्यादा कुछ कहना नहीं चाहता हूँ, पर मैं ये भी नहीं कहना चाहता हूँ कि अलग अलग प्रोसेस है। हम जो भी जिस तरह से भी असिस्ट कर सकते हैं हम करेंगे। अभी के लिए फोकस हमारा ये न्यायिक प्रक्रिया पे है, पर हम कतर के साथ भी एंगेज रहे हैं काफ़ी। Yashi, as regards your query on, you specifically asked for Maldives, right? The withdrawal of the... look, you would have seen, I would refer you to the conversation that took place between Prime Minister and President of Maldives, newly elected President of Maldives, which happened in Dubai. As you know, the troops or military personnel or Indian personnel that you refer to, Maldives are, there for the platforms that provided by India. And these platforms have been providing much needed humanitarian assistance and medical evacuation facilities to the people of Maldives. And this has been consistently appreciated by the government of Maldives. And as I mentioned, in Dubai during the conversation, Prime Minister and President of Maldives discussed ways to further deepen our partnership. In this regard, they agreed to set up a core group. And let's see how we will be guided by what the core group says. So for the moment, that would be my response to this. Thank you very much. We have more questions? Sorry, we're running out of time. Okay, Kallol, I saw your hand earlier. I should call you. Yeah. You have a second question. Hold on.
Kallol from The Hindu.
Sure, ask last round. Okay. Yeah. Tell me.
So, the Foreign Secretary visited Iran recently.
Yes.
And of course, there is the context of the incidents that are happening on the Red Sea, that the security threats rising for the ships. And there have been incidents where the Israeli flag-bearing ships have been attacked by Ansar Allah and Houthi militants. My question is, has India raised these concerns with the Iranian authorities, or has there been some sort of a maritime security-related discussion during the Foreign Secretary's visit to Tehran?
Okay. Though somebody else, no, I mean, look, we can't have too many. Anything particular new? Something I'm missing out?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So it's Abhishek from CNN News 18, and my question is regarding Pakistan Foreign Ministry spokesperson has reacted on the comments made by Home Minister in the Parliament on the issue of Kashmir, the Pak-occupied Kashmir, which India has said that is our part, and there has been some other statements also in the bill that have been passed. So they have rejected this statement. If you could speak.
You really expecting some other response? What would you like me to? Okay, I'll give you a statement if you want. Okay, anything, something else?
So this is just a clarification.
Yeah, please.
To the one of the earlier questions asked on Qatar. Did you give a categorical response on whether the Prime Minister had raised this issue with the Emir of?
You were not listening, obviously.
No, I think you said probably that there was no update, but would you like to give a?
Sorry, I have said what I needed to say. You have something else? Yeah, tell me.
नीरज दुबे प्रभात साक्षी से सर चाइना हिंद महासागर क्षेत्र फोरम का सम्मेलन दूसरा आयोजित कर रहा है, क्या सरकार की इस पर प्रतिक्रिया?
नहीं, मैं समझ गया, मैं मतलब अच्छा ठीक है, ओके। आपने मैं कभी कभी हैरान हो जाता हूँ। एनीथिंग न्यू? या टेल मी माइक।
Just one, the new Argentinian president has said that they don't want to join the BRICS. What does India think about it?
It's a very complicated question. Okay, I have to close here. Okay, quickly. Look, on the Iran consultations, Kalol, in fact, I have it. That's what I was actually looking for. We gave a pretty detailed sense of where we were and what we discussed. Maritime security is an element that's, of course, discussed, as part of our overall engagement. But as you correctly said, that's Houthis are talking about it. I don't know if the Iranian government has said anything on it. I would be hard-pressed to comment on whether we raised it. I would tend to say no, but I haven't had a chance to check on that. For the moment, I would limit myself to the detailed readout that we shared after the Foreign Office consultations, particularly focusing on bilateral cooperation, Chabahar, trade and economic issues, people-to-people ties, agriculture, and capacity building. Of course, there was also exchange on regional developments, naturally. So I would limit myself to that. Pakistan, you asked on that. Look, I don't think I need to really reiterate our position on Pakistan occupied Kashmir. I don't need to clarify Honorable Home Minister's statement. I think they stand on their own. They've been made in Parliament. I'm certainly not going to respond to it. But our position on Pakistan occupied Kashmir is very clear. I mean, we consider it a part of India, and we've done so for as long as I can remember. And we certainly, I see no reason to change our statement. But I have nothing to comment against their comments. Sridhar, I responded to you. You can look at the recording. आपका प्रश्न था हिंद महासागर के। देखिए, मैं इसमें उस पर टिप्पणी नहीं करूंगा। मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि हम अपने क्षेत्र में या हिंद महासागर के क्षेत्र में रीजनल अप्रोच में हमने काफ़ी कुछ किया है, और हमारा जो नज़रिया है और हम जो प्लेटफॉर्म्स यूज़ करते हैं, आप आयोरा देख लीजिए या आयोन्स देख लीजिए या किसी और तरीके से, हम किस तरह से इस क्षेत्र के देशों के साथ कोऑपरेट कर सकते हैं और हम मिलजुट के क्या कर सकते हैं, उसमें हमारी प्रयास है, उसमें हमारा फोकस रहता है। हम लोग इसमें कई तरह के मैकेनिज्म्स हमने लॉन्च किए हैं और कुछ तरह के कोऑपरेशन है। हमारा फोकस यही किस तरह से हम इकोनॉमिक इंटीग्रेशन बढ़ा सकें, हमारा ग्रेटर कनेक्टिविटी रह सके इस देशों के साथ, और मैरीटाइम सिक्योरिटी और बाकी मुद्दों जो उनके इंटरेस्ट में हो, किस तरह से इंडिया उनके साथ काम कर सकती है। new Argentinian president. Look, I would go by the fact that, as I mentioned on the BRICS expansion process, that countries expressed a desire to join it, and there was there was a whole process of criteria, guidelines, etc., which were drawn up, based on which some countries were invited. 6 countries were invited to become members of BRICS. If they choose not to become, I guess they choose not to become. I don't think anybody is forcing anybody to join groups. So we will see as it comes. It's pretty hypothetical. I think I would also refer you to the chair of BRICS. I think that's Russia. Would know the legal process of this. I know you want me to go down that route. Thank you very much. What else? Yeah, it's 4:35. Huh? मैंने कोई स्टेटमेंट ही नहीं दी। मैंने तो सिर्फ कहा उनको कि मैं उनके बयान पे कमेंट नहीं करना चाहता हूं, और हमारे होम मिनिस्ट्री के जो बयान है उस पर भी नहीं कमेंट करूंगा। मैं सिर्फ कहूंगा कि हमारे जो पीओके के जो हमारा पोजीशन रहा है हमारे देश का, सरकार का, उसमें कोई बदलाव नहीं है, और वो बिल्कुल भारत का अभिन्न अंग है। ये हम बहुत बार कह चुके हैं। थैंक यू ऑल फॉर जॉइनिंग अस।
All right, you were listening to the spokesperson of the Indian Ministry of External Affairs. Let me now take you back to India's parliament, where the country's finance minister is speaking.
Shows a remarkable decline in the prevalence of multidimensional poverty. The national MPI has halved from 0.117 in 2015-16 to 0.066 in 1921. So 13.5 crore Indians have escaped multidimensional poverty between 15-16 to 19 and 21. 13.5 crore Indians. Sir, this program, the Aspirational Districts program, I'll refer to it once more later, launched by Honorable Prime Minister in 2018, is a testament to how our government's commitment to the people who are in the far-flung areas, really remote areas, have benefited because of the focus that we've given on to the Aspirational District program. Just look at health and nutrition, the point on which many members were concerned. Percentage of pregnant mothers registered in antenatal care. In 2018, it was just 68%. I'm talking about the aspirational districts. In 23, it went up to 89%, sir, 21% improvement. Institutional deliveries, 69% has gone up to 90%. There's a 31% improvement. And also the PM Jan Dhan Yojana, Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, 7-fold increase and 5-fold increase in Suraksha Bima Yojana. So my appeal is nutrition and nutrition-related issues, health, any case being both with the center and state, is something on which all of us will have to work together. Party-driven politics may not help the situation, it can only aggravate. Just as in women's issues, particularly law and order related to women's issues, I keep saying we should not politicize it. Because once you do that, your number versus my number, but the person who's suffering remains wherever she is, wherever he is, particularly in nutrition-related matters. So I was tempted to bring in one aspect of how, in what we think, and maybe data also shows, in a state like Kerala, nutrition, education are all very well taken care of. No, wait a minute, I didn't complete. I knew you will come back. Now, you may not be very pleased with what I'm going to say.
Thanks to the one generation.
Yes.
1 century old.
So, when we don't need to politicize, sir, we can always exchange about the good work done here, the good work done there, and so on, with an understanding that all of us will have to work together for taking it further for better days. But if you are so concerned about nutrition under Modi, that's why it's bad, I'd like to say, not very long back in 2018, there was this very sensational case from Kerala of a tribal young man begging for food and was killed. Madhu. So politicizing doesn't help. I don't want to say more on it, but I have the proof, sir. I'm not, it's not a fictional, or it's not a story that I'm creating here, but that's truth here. Yeah, I'm also coming up with the data. And that's why I want to say, let's not politicize issues of women, nutrition, education. It's a subject where both center and state has responsibility. If Modi has not given money, you ask me, but Modi has not stopped you from giving nutrition to your own tribal people. Madhu wouldn't have died if that literate and very respected state, God's own country, which I love a lot, which I respect a lot, wouldn't have died if that state had taken care of it. So, that's okay, one Madhu. That is why I'm saying no point in politicizing, all right? So, yeah. All right, all of you all had your turn to speak. Let me reply now. Sir, member is not here. Normal rule earlier used to be don't reply to members who are not here. I'm not sure whether I should do it. whether I should stick to that, but it is a very important point.
Honorable Finance Minister,
sir?
Some of the members have sought my leave, that on account of a commitment they will not be here.
That's fine.
So, response needs to be imparted.
Response?
Needs to be imparted.
Imparted.
Because
Thank
the honorable members, in all fairness, have sought my leave, that they would not be able to be here, and therefore I'm sure that is required.
Thank you. I just want to highlight that Honorable Member Derek Coburn had mentioned elections are won and lost. You win, we win, you lose, we lose. Let's compare equals. He said, our growth, your growth. But I want to say that comparison, elections are won, elections are lost. So you and us, and also the point that we have not won against them was underlined. Yes, of course, we have not won against them. But the point is very grave here, which I want to highlight. You may win an election, we may win an election. What follows soon after is a law and order issue. And that's where you are certainly not equal to us. You win an election being an incumbent, sitting in power, win an election, and after that, lawlessness, mayhem, clashes, sexual assaults, brazen murders have happened in West Bengal. And they're not my words. High Court, Calcutta High Court has said, sir, and I'm quoting, in 60% of the cases, FIRs were not registered. Therefore, total cases of violence understated, unquote. This is the Calcutta High Court's observation. So what is the comparison? I win, you win. We all win means my cadres, ordinary citizens are at risk. They get raped, they get murdered, their houses get burnt. So don't you compare. Don't you compare.
Honorable Finance Minister, Honorable Finance Minister, we lay the High Court judgment on the table.
Sir?
You will authenticate the High Court judgment.
Of course I will, sir.
Please.
Of course I will. Thank you. Sir, the incidents are such worrisome incidents, sir. So this very house, which periodically talks about women's welfare, women's law and order related issues, that is where I start telling, if we start politicizing women's issues, malnutrition, and about children, there is no end. I can point a finger, they can point a finger, no end to it. But look at the gravity. 4th May 2021, 60-year-old woman was gang raped in Kejuri in front of her 6-year-old grandson while her daughter-in-law was beaten up. So you win, I win, sir? You win and I win? May 21st. May 21st. I don't mind, I'll hear. Sir, I'm happy to sit down. I can happily sit down. Ma'am, I'm responding to you. I'll sit down. But if the issues have been raised by members, I'm duty-bound to give an answer. I quite welcome you telling anything to me. Oh, this is not economy. Oh, this is not the discussion. Oh, this is not on jobs. I will talk about it because the comparison came from your end. I will respond to it. Sir, 5th May 21, Arup Das, a BJP Karyakarta, a resident of Natra village in Indus, was found hanging from a tree. Who did it? Till now. And out of the court, Calcutta High Court again, sir, comes to my rescue. I will give you the statement authenticated. I am quoting here, sir. Out of 268 FIRs, sir, I heard all members speak.
Honorable Finance Minister.
Please sit down.
Honorable Finance Minister.
I'm quoting, sir.
Honorable Finance Minister.
FIRs.
Honorable Finance Minister. Honorable members, I have already directed the Honorable Finance Minister that the references she has made about High Court observations in judicial orders, she will authenticate, and not only authenticate reporting of those judgments, but put on the table of the House the judgment. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, quoting again, sir, 19th August 2021, the High Court of Calcutta observed, quote, out of 268 FIRs claimed to be registered by the police suo motu, copies of only 219 could be found. It is evident that 62 FIRs were registered up to May 5, 2021, whereas 157 FIRs were registered from May 6, 2021 onwards. Some of these were registered immediately after the offense was committed, whereas in many of these, FIRs were registered belatedly. Unquote. So the last point on this, on 6 May 2021, MOS Muralidharan and his convoy was attacked. Not even a central minister is safe. So you win, I win doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. Sir, I'll come to responding to some of the observation made by Honorable former Finance Minister. And if you'll allow me, if you'll indulge me with a light-hearted banter, if I may use. Honorable Chair has already ordered me.
I ordered. There is already a direction. Yes, and I'll look into it after I go through it. Please. Ma'am, you were saying something in light-hearted manner.
Sir, if you'll indulge
Please
me.
do that. We need it.
Sorry?
Light-hearted comment.
Sir, I'm very serious. Sir, it was a bit surprising, sir. It was a bit surprising, and it was also uncharacteristic, I would say, to see the former finance minister, who's very senior, highly educated, was in the prestigious Harvard University even in 1968 when I was in primary school. But he wholeheartedly concurred and sort of rode on the arguments provided by Derek O'Brien. He took his name more than 3-4 times. Hang on, I've sought the permission of the House. The honorable members here, with respect, I'm giving my observation. There's no other way in which a light-hearted observation can be accommodated. I started thinking, was it an attempt to placate the All India Trinamool Congress to come and attend the ... alliance? Because they seem to be hot and cold. What is it? I didn't understand, because much before you could come to talking about the economy, that happened. And I said, oh my God, now this is all between All India Trinamool Congress and Congress. The dotted alliance needs them, and they seem to be hot and cold.
Take it. So, I had the occasion to make a reference to Mr. Derek O'Brien's name on 3 occasions. And we had a very quick comment from Jairam Ramesh. Is something cooking, something like that you said? Am I right, Jairam? When I took name of Derek O'Brien 3 times on a particular day, the record shows it, you made a comment. Similar kind of comment was made.
So no comparison with you, sir. And but sir, I just want to say No, come on. Yeah, I sought his permission for a banter, right? Thank you, thank you. So he made, the former finance minister made a very linear comparison as to how the GDP has grown from 1991-92, 25 lakh crore, and then 50 lakh crore, and then 100 lakh crores, and so on, and then wondered if I will say that by the end of 23-24, India will have 100 lakh crore as the GDP. That is, if I understood, if I heard him right, he said going by the trend of doubling every 10 years, it might. So I'm confident that the question is asked with a certain sense of confidence that the Indian economy and people are contributing for its growth. But I would only refer to one editorial which appears today in a paper. I'm not saying my view, but if you would permit me, and I'll also do an authentication and everything else, there is an editorial in the Economic Times today which says, a $4 trillion plus we go. GDP expected to catch up in the coming fiscal. And goes to elaborate, and there's just one line that I'll read for the House, for the benefit of the House, and I quote, as India's GDP rises, would the market cap rise in tandem? Though there is no direct correlation, there could be significant wealth effects that provide tailwinds to the economy. Retail investors own 10% of the equity, about $400 billion, and their share has been rising. That should help consumption, which accounts for close to 60% of the GDP. So, linking that to the growth of the GDP itself, this write-up, which is an editorial in a paper, which is a pink paper, which observes the Indian economy, we get a picture and a probable answer to the former finance minister. Sir, then the worker population ratio was also another issue that the honorable former finance minister raised. I just want to highlight incorrect it was for him to suggest that the worker population ratio has not improved. There is, obviously he's done some kind of a, if you permit me, whimsical calculation there and then, and which serves him well, and the interpretation is not right. As per the PLFS, that is the Periodic Labor Force Survey, WPR, the worker population ratio, that is the share of the employed in the total population, has increased to 56% in 2022-23 from 46.8% in 2017-18. And I underline the fact that this is post-COVID, that it has gone up to 56%. So there is an increase in the worker population ratio, and this is government's data. So
You were listening to India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman replying to a short duration discussion on the economic situation in the country. She was speaking in the Rajya Sabha, the upper chamber of India's legislature. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can also check out our website, ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.